Hello everybody, welcome to Been My Pleasure. My name is JC. We are broadcasting live via recorded message from the attic in Phoenix, Arizona, home of the best burger in Phoenix, some say the world. Joining me today is my good friend Archibald Meatbag II. Thank you, Archie Jr., for joining us today. We are going to talk about some tips for tips coming into this weekend.
Absolutely.
Archie, you got any tips for us? Anything you do or use in your service? By way of lead-in, for those of you who haven't watched our previous segments, Archie is now a manager in a casual formal environment, but has worked as a server and bartender and cocktail waitress.
Yeah, I was a very good waitress.
In the casual dining environment. Do you have any tips to increase tip share or gratuity at the end of the night that you'd like to share with our viewers?
I do. Coming from manager, obviously, I'm not serving tables. Every once in a while I have to, obviously, but coming from a managerial side, if there's any servers watching or bartenders or anything like that, and the same kind of concept, my first little bit of advice would be to own your tables. If something goes wrong or if just anything that the guest needs, own it. Don't run to the nearest person because you're scared to tell them that you dropped their burger. Tell them that something went wrong in the kitchen or something just went wrong in general. Walk up to them, own it, let them know that I'm very sorry, but unfortunately this happened. We'll get it out to you as soon as we can, and I'll see what I can do for you. In the meantime, get them anything, just make them happy. It happens so often that servers and bartenders, something wrong happens and they don't know what to do, so they panic and run to me.
You as a manager.
Me as a manager, yeah. I feel like your guests would appreciate it much more if you just took care of them. Right there on the spot, own it, take care of them. They know they're going to be good to go. Not wondering if someone else is going to come over and make this right. I feel like they'd appreciate it a lot more, in turn give you more gratuity,
May I interject?
Of course.
By way of example, once the public bus passes by way of example, I know the term owning it has been used before kind of nebulously. And I'd like to give you an example of something that happened to me in my recent past. It was a little while ago, but it happens from time to time. I don't think there's a server in the world who hasn't made a mistake and inadvertently forgotten an item or forgotten an entire order to put in for a guest. And this has happened. And this has happened to me. So this one in particular, this is how I turned a bad experience into a good experience and a pleasurable experience for me at the end. By owning it, I went up and I described the issue. I said, I apologized. I would like to apologize in advance. I have performed a snafu. Unfortunately, I was a few minutes behind in putting your order in because I was distracted by other needs in the kitchen. I put the order in. I have asked for it to be made as quickly as possible, but I do want to let you know it's going to take an additional 3 to 5 minutes. Those numbers are off the top of my head. But at the time, I think it was 3 to 5 minutes I used also. And they were a little upset, but they weren't angrily upset. If you're hungry and things aren't coming out when you expect them to be, you're going to be upset, as I would, as I'm sure you would.
Archie Jr.
And, but they were understanding of it. Okay, fine, 3-5 minutes, thank you for letting me know. At the time, a manager was willing to discount it but not give it for free. There was a table visit involved, and that's the way you would think that concluded. Why did we tell this story? Because we're talking about owning it. At the end of the meal, they ended up staying there for an additional hour. So it wasn't somebody one of my personal pet peeves that you might see on a Monday morning session with me, people who aren't in a hurry but don't want to wait.
Right.
That's not related to this. I messed up. Their experience wasn't as good as it should have been, and I knew it. At the end of the meal, we didn't give them the burger for free, but we did give them something else for free. We discounted their meal in part. And I think that was just to set a precedent that, look, we understand that it was a little tardy in getting to you. However, it's still good food, You know, we're going to discount the rate a little bit. Where the discount should have been was on the service side. And that's what I did to own it. When the check receipt came up, ran their credit card slip, normally I would circle the merchant copy. I always circle the merchant copy so they know it's the merchant copy, but they're still going to ask.
But I can always say,
it's the one that's circled. And in the tip section, I put a little smiley face. This time I left nothing. And in fact, I wrote a 0 in there. And then I thanked them for their time on the slip, as I always do. And when I presented the check, I let them know. I apologized again, said I'm sorry that I made that snafu. Snafus happen. They were all right with it, and I let them know I already adjusted their check accordingly. So hopefully, despite the faux pas, they'll give us a second chance to return again in the future.
Right.
And he's, love to. He comes back later, gives me the book, comes to me personally, walks up to me, gives me the book, goes, I appreciate what you did, because he saw that I zeroed out the check, but you don't have to do that. That type of ownership, he didn't say ownership, he goes, that type of integrity, I appreciate. You know, you didn't do your best, but I know that you do better than that, and it was probably like a 1 in a million for you. So I want you to have this, and gave me a cash tip that was roughly 20%. On a table I fucked up. Why? I owned it.
Owned it.
If you make a mistake, be honest with your guests. Be especially honest with your guests. All right? And there's another little hidden one in there too. If food's running a little behind, stop by your table and engage your guests. Again, engaging guests. We've talked about this before. And let them know things are taking 3 to 5 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if this is a psychology thing. It doesn't matter if it's going to take 10 minutes. If you make 3 visits and tell them it's going to take 2 to 3 minutes, that's 9 maximum, but it ends up taking 11 minutes, they're going to feel like it's not taking quite that long, because you're there and letting them, you're giving people updates on the progress of something, makes the waiting experience seem less stressful.
Even if you walk by a table, you're super busy, you just got your 10th table that's sat down, you walk by them and let them know, hey folks, I'll be right with you. They obviously know you're busy, but you just acknowledging them and letting them know that you know they're there helps tremendously.
You say it's obvious, but sometimes it isn't.
Very true. Yeah.
Well, my friends, I hope you found this useful. If what we've said is something that you think that you can take to heart and go out into the field this weekend and make some more money, give us a thumbs up. Say, I'm going to try that. If you think what we've said is utter poppycock, give us a thumbs down. If you'd like to see more content like this, then by all means, click on my pixelated friend's face and subscribe to this channel. We'd love to see you again. We're going to do a little bit more. I think we're wrapping up for today due to the technical difficulties we've been having this afternoon. But for the next episode, we look forward to seeing you. But until next time, my name is JC. This is Archibald Meatpants Jr. It's been my pleasure.